very much, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Labour. Yesterday, the government announced their plan to force workers to get a doctor's note to prove that they're sick. But for years, doctors with the Ontario Medical Association have been very clear that when you're sick, you should be staying home, not dragging yourself into work to avoid losing a day's pay, and definitely not dragging yourself into a doctor's office to get a note so you don't have to drag yourself into work. Our healthcare system is already stretched, and this will only give doctors more work. What is the justification for this move?
Minister of Labour.
Well, thank you very much for the question. And we realize that the doctors are stressed. We realize the medical system is stressed. I want to point out in the legislation it says medical note, a health practitioner, qualified health practitioner note. So there's certainly flexibility, but there also has to be accountability. Now, not every employer is going to ask an employee for a medical note. This is very much up to the employee. But we've spoken across the province, heard feedback across the province, that there has to be some accountability when asked for by an employer. We said, broadly, a medical health practitioner's note. So, Mr. Speaker, I hope that answers the question. It seems very reasonable on this side of the House for businesses.
Supplementary.
Mr. Speaker, that response actually leaves us with more questions. And to add onto this mess, the government isn't just taking away paid sick days. Under the proposed changes, the Employment Standards Act, people will now have fewer days off to deal with family tragedies. When a loved one passes away, the last thing anyone wants to worry about is whether they can take time off to attend their funeral. Amazingly, the change also says an employer can demand proof in situations of bereavement. Is this government seriously proposing that people have to produce a death certificate for their mother before they're allowed to go to her funeral in the province of Ontario?
Minister.
Mr. Speaker, it's very disappointing that the opposition is demonizing businesses in the province of Ontario and making them look to be that they don't care about their employees. That is not what is going on in the province of Ontario. We have 8 job days for employees, similar to other provinces across the country. We have designated people when we're protecting every worker in the province of Ontario, Mr. Speaker, with those job-protected days. So I know the members opposite are upset that we've brought in a piece of legislation that puts Ontario open for businesses and gives workers the opportunity to have better